In this video, we will do two more examples where we are trying to find the general term of a given sequence. Remember, finding the general term means you're basically looking for a formula that will generate this sequence of numbers. And some people refer to this as finding the nth term of a sequence. To start off, it's useful to notice that this sequence of numbers has alternating signs. And what I mean by that is the first term is positive, the second term is negative, the third term is positive, negative, and so on. So one thing that I recommend that you do when you see a sequence with alternating signs like this is to ignore the signs for a moment. So let's strip away the signs and let's just take a look at the values if they were all positive and see if we can figure out the pattern first without the alternating signs. So we have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. As always, please pause the video, see if you can figure this out a little bit on your own first, and then come back because you really do need some think time on these. Now, you'll notice I'm not adding the same number each time. I'm not multiplying by the same number each time. So I'm not seeing anything linear or exponential in nature. So another hint that I have would be to go ahead and write on top of each value what term it is. So this is the first term. I'll write n equals 1, and this is my second term when n equals 2. My term is 4, and my third term when n equals 3 is 9. My fourth term when n equals 4 is 16. Because sometimes just writing out these values for what term you have will allow you to see a pattern. And that jumps out at me because I can see whatever the value I have for n, for example, when n was equal to 6, then the term was 36, that's going to be that n value squared. In other words, this is 5, 5 squared is 25, 4, 4 squared is 16. In other words, these numbers, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and 36, are special numbers. They are perfect squares. So knowing that is very helpful because now I can begin to write my formula, which is my formula that will get me any term of the sequence that I want. They call that the general term. So it looks like we're taking the value of n and we are squaring it to generate all of these perfect squares. Now, I always recommend that you check the formula that you've written. So by checking it, I'm going to go ahead and substitute in n equals 1 and see what I get in my formula. So if n is equal to 1, I have 1 squared. That means my first term is 1. And then always check several terms. So if n equals 2, I'm plugging in 2. A sub 2, that means I would have 2 squared, which would give me positive 4. I'm going to do one more. If I plug in 3, n equals 3, a sub 3 will be 3 squared, which would give me 9. So right now, this formula here of a sub n equals n squared, it will generate the sequence of numbers 1, 4, 9, and on, which is almost what I want. But now if I go back to the original sequence that I was given up here, I want those values, but I want the signs to alternate. So that means my formula isn't perfect yet. I need to work a little bit more on it. So one way to get the alternating signs, of course, is to multiply by a negative number. So if you think about powers of a negative number, like -1 to a power. So for example, you might think, oh, I'm just going to multiply n squared by -1. But if I did that, if I multiplied my values all by -1, then that means I would get -1, -4, -9. In other words, every single one of my terms would be negative. And that's not what I want. I want my terms to alternate. So I could achieve this by multiplying by -1 raised to a power of n. So scratch work here. Let's think through this. -1 to the power of n. So if n was equal to 1, I had -1 raised to the power of 1, I would get a -1 as a result. If n is equal to 2, I would get -1 to the power of 2. That's -1 times -1. That gives me +1. If n is equal to 3, I have -1 to the power of 3. That's -1 times -1 times -1. I get a -1 back. So you can see that when you have -1 raised to a power, that causes the signs to alternate. We're going to get a negative number, then a positive, then a negative, and then a positive. So we achieve this alternating sign by using -1 to the power of n. So let's try that. If we were to take our formula, n squared, and multiply it by -1 to the power of n, let's see what our sequence would look like. So we're checking our formula by plugging in n equals 1 and finding a sub 1. So that would give me 1 squared times -1 to the power of 1. 1 squared is 1, multiplied by -1, that would give us -1 as our first term. A sub 2, plugging in 2, we would have 2 squared times -1 to the power of 2. Well, 2 squared is 4, and -1 squared is positive 1, so that's going to be 4 times 1. That will give me positive 4. And then the third term, by plugging in 3, we'd have 3 squared times -1 to the power of 3. That would be 9 times -1 cubed is going to end up being -1, so that would give me -9. So this is going to generate a sequence that will give us -1 for the first term, 4 is the second term, -9 is the third term, and on. And you can see we almost have what we need, but we do not want -1 as my first term. We need to have +1 as my first term. So we're so close, we just have to adjust our formula a little bit. Going back to what I have in red, my scratch work over here, we can get this adjustment by basically needing that first term to be positive, means we need to have that -1 squared. That's how we're getting a positive value here. So that means that when I plug in 1, I don't want to raise it to the first power, I want to raise it to the second power. So if I add 1, if I make this -1 raised to the n plus 1 power, then when I plug in 1 for n, 1 plus 1 is 2, and we would have -1 squared, which is a positive. Now, I know that is hard to sometimes wrap your mind around, so that's why, of course, we're going to check this so you can see it worked out in action. So we plug in 1, we'll have 1 squared times -1 to the 1 plus 1 power. So 1 squared is 1, -1 to the 1 plus 1, that's -1 squared, which will give me, sure enough, a +1 result. Let's plug in 2. That's 2 squared times -1 to the 2 plus 1 power. So that'll give us the 4. Then we're going to multiply by -1 to the third power. 2 plus 1 is 3. And sure enough, that -1 cubed will give us a negative number, which will result in a -4. And you can see, hopefully by this point, that we've got it. Plugging in 3, we'll just check one more for fun here to make sure we're confident. 3 squared is 9. Then we multiply by -1. 3 plus 1 is 4, so it's to the 4th power. And sure enough, that will be a +1 times 9 gives us that +9. So we are getting a +1 for the first term, -4 for the second term, +9 for the third term, and on. And we have successfully written a formula that will generate this sequence of numbers. This is called finding the general term. Now, I know that was really tedious. That's a pretty advanced problem. And I'm just giving you some strategies to break it down. Everybody's mind works differently, and you might have broken this problem down very differently than I did, and that's totally fine. So be patient with yourself, and understand that there's many ways of looking at these. Let's try another. We have -1 for the first term, then +2, then -6, then +24, and then -120, and on. So I'm going to use a similar strategy to the last problem. I notice that the signs are alternating. So I am going to ignore those signs initially. I'm going to strip away the signs and just look at the numbers without the positives, the negatives, basically keep them all positive, and see if I can determine the pattern here. So I'm not adding a number every time. It doesn't look like I'm multiplying by the same number every time. And these are not perfect squares or perfect cubes, so I don't see anything special in that way. But you might notice you are actually multiplying to get from one term to the next, but you're just not multiplying by the same number each time. In other words, I would multiply 1 times 2 to get me the second term of 2. But then to go from 2 to 6, that would be 2 times 3 is 6. And then 6, I would multiply by 4 to get me 24. And 24, I would multiply by 5 to get me 120. So I am multiplying, but I'm just not multiplying by the same number every time. When you see this pattern where you're multiplying by 2 and then 3 and then 4 and the next the next whole number, larger whole number is what you're multiplying by, that is a sign that you have a factorial pattern. In other words, you know that we start with 1, and then we have 2, which is really 1 times 2, and 6 is 1 times 2 times 3. 24 is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4, and so on. And you know when you're multiplying by the next larger integer, that is a factorial. So we have basically 1 factorial, and then we have 2 factorial, 3 factorial, 4 factorial, and 5 factorial. So we can begin writing our general term, a sub n. It looks like we have n factorial for starters. Again, if we check that, and if we are going to plug in n equals 1, so a sub 1 will get me 1 factorial, which is definitely 1. If I plug in 2, a sub 2 will give me 2 factorial, which is 2 times 1, 2. And if we plug in 3, we'll just do one more. A sub 3 is 3 factorial, which we know is 3 times 2 times 1, also 1 times 2 times 3, however you want to think of that, which is 6. So we are definitely getting the right numbers. Now we need to go back and tackle the alternating signs. So just like in the previous example, when we see that we have these alternating signs, that means we need to multiply by a negative number. So I would recommend that you go ahead and try negative 1 to the power of n for starters. So we'll go ahead and multiply our n factorial by negative 1 to the power of n. And if you're already kind of seeing that this is going to work or maybe not work, you're kind of working ahead, that's awesome. If you're just not sure, then you try negative 1 to the power of n and see if it's going to work. And you'll get better at these, I promise, as you go. So we'll go ahead and check. If I were to plug in 1 into my new formula here, we've got 1 factorial, and then that would get multiplied by negative 1 to the power of 1. Well, that'll be 1 times negative 1, which will give me negative 1 as my first term, which is great. That's what I wanted. Let's double check that it continues to work. 2 factorial is 2, and then we're multiplying by negative 1 to the power of 2 this time. And negative 1 squared is going to be a positive 1. So that will give us positive 2 for our second term. If we plug in 3, we'll have 3 factorial times negative 1 cubed. So 3 factorial will give us 6. Negative 1 cubed will be a negative 1. So I will get a third term that's negative 6. So you can see this formula will generate our sequence of numbers where we have these nice factorials, but they're alternating signs, and the first term is negative.